Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Golden Goal Fantasy Football Podcast. In this episode, we're covering Sky Sports Fantasy Football, and as always, I'm joined by my good mate Sam. How you doing, mate?
Hi, Tom. Yeah, going well, mate. What about you?
Yeah, not too bad. I must admit, it's been one of the more boring weeks of the season. I think in Sky, not much movement. I made a transfer last week, brought Kane in. But other than that, I've not really
Yeah.
done much. Just had the standard template team, template captains.
Well, yeah, I think that's been a topic of. Oh, sorry, I'm just pulling my team up now. Yeah, it's been a topic of conversation within the Sky community, isn't it? This sort of really solid template that we're seeing, and it's very, very difficult to break if you're kind of not up there. Yeah, and yeah, I'm the same, mate. I'm struggling to see how I'm going to sort of bust through it, but there might be some opportunities later in the season when people have maybe burnt through a few transfers. So we'll see.
Right. But if you've got your team up then, are you happy to go through, have a chat about yours first?
Yeah, mate, I can do that.
Go for it. It's on screen now.
Yeah, so I've not really changed. I've sort of held rank really, um, which has been the story of the last. Well, as we'll go through the graphs later, actually, quite a while. So I'm going to save that conversation because yeah, we'll see later. But no real rank change. Stuck with Pope. I had all intentions to move Pope on. I think probably quite a few of us did, didn't we? Then that single game day came up last night, and he's just been playing well. So kind of yeah, I was quite I sort of thought maybe there was going to be the opportunity for a clean versus Palace. I don't know. Just had that sort of inkling, but they scored quite early, didn't they? Yeah, they scored quite early, didn't they, Palace? Um, but at least Pope got sort of saves tier one, which he's done for quite a few weeks. And then obviously last night, was it 83 minutes? Was it the first goal?
God, yeah, they scored two in like the last 10 minutes of the game, didn't they?
Yeah, but man of the match and saves tier one. As captain was really, I'll take that. Although it's disappointing for an 83rd minute goal, and then obviously conceding the two, I'll take that sort of 6 pointer double at 12.
Didn't watch the
Um,
game, but yeah, you can a man of the match in a game where the keeper lost 2-0 feels pretty jammy. So I'll take
yeah,
it.
especially when you're on -1 for the goals conceded.
Exactly.
So it's like, yeah, so I've got some thought processes to potentially move him out at some point, but obviously that's for a later conversation. Cancelo obviously got the clean, no bonus, which is a first in it for Cancelo. No bonus at all. They shouldn't have even had a clean sheet, should they? That was a blatant handball, wasn't it? Did you see
Oh
it?
my god, yeah. I don't know. So yeah, a lot of people were saying it was handball in the build up to, not handball, sorry, offside in the build up
Offside.
to it. But yeah, just based on that, he controlled the ball with his bicep. It was plain as day. I can't believe they got away with it.
Yeah, so a bit lucky there as Cancelo owner, but he's so highly owned. Trent obviously didn't play. Um, yeah, Arsenal Wolves. Gabriel, yeah, just been a bit disappointed since I brought him in. Obviously, the 1 pointer versus Brentford with a late goal, and then obviously conceded the goal versus Wolves, albeit it was early, so at least it was out of the way. At least he got past his tier, and I still think there's a few cleans to come for Arsenal, so he should be all right value. Kilman, I'm not been blown away by him either. It's just 6.2 million. It's just like an easy enabler in it. I think that's all that needs to be said. Passes tier versus West Ham, so I'll take that. And I think, yeah, a few people have sort of mentioned it within the community. Like someone at that price, just take 2 points, wouldn't you? And if they give you a couple of like bit crappy captaincy days as well, then so be it. I'll leave Kilman until at least all the Wolves singles are out the way, and
Hmm.
then I'll probably look to move him on. I think there's a couple more. Um, yeah, little blank from Bowen. But that's his first in a while, or what? Yeah, first in a while. So yeah, no problem there. At least leave him for now, anyway. Um, yeah, Gallagher obviously gets the goal versus Watford, which was awesome, albeit they got spanked. And then obviously blanks via versus Burnley. But yeah, he's super cheap, and I think just sort of set and forget really for the season, unless you've got a burning kind of transfer to make for a captaincy or something. Been a bit disappointed with Coutinho, but I think like Paul McNulty's talked about before, like just leave him. He'll have another double digit haul in the next few weeks, and obviously there's no better game than Leeds to probably get that. Got Leeds of that? Yeah, they have. Yeah,
Yeah, they do.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That was his last decent haul was Leeds, wasn't it? 17 pointer. So Southampton, Leeds. Yeah, I'm happy to leave him, and they got a few games in that. So yeah, it's all right. Obviously Salah didn't play. Um, yeah, nice little return from Kane. That again against Leeds, we're all banking on it. It was obviously the obvious captaincy choice, but they're Jekyll and Hyde, aren't they? Spurs at the moment, and so you're like,
You don't know what you're gonna get.
you know,
Yeah.
don't know what you're going to get. But yeah, English darling, of course he gets man of the match. All he needs is a goal, isn't it? And just a couple of nice bits of link up play, and they hand him man of the match. So really happy with that 13 pointer. And yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it, isn't it? Yeah, that was my week. 65 points, and yeah, held rank. 16 transfers remaining.
Yeah, nice one. I'll quickly flash up mine then. I think I've actually made some gains since last week. I probably climbed about 100 places, so I'm now 822nd. I think that's partly due to captaining Kane on the Saturday. I think he was, well, like we say, he was probably the most popular pick among most, but there were still some people that either didn't own him or just went Cancelo. So I think I gained some rank from that. As you say, Nick Pope, single game day legend.
Yeah.
Cancelo, 7-pointer. Laporte got me that 10-pointer. I'm quite glad that I've kept hold of him. Really, I know some have been selling him, but yeah, quite happy I kept hold. As you say with Kilman, he's not an interesting or exciting pick, but he's got a few points here and there, and that's all you can really ask of him, to be honest. And then I got Rafinha, Bowen, Gallagher, and unlike you with Broyer, I went Ward-Prowse for captain. Got me passing tier. I mean, I'll take it. And depending on what happens in the FA Cup games, Ward-Prowse might well become Rudiger for me as well. That's probably my
that's right. I
next
forgot
move.
yeah. I forgot to talk about that in my one, but yeah, nothing to talk about. Yeah, but thanks for reminding me.
That's all right. And yeah, Salah and Kane up top. Obviously, Liverpool didn't play this week, but Harry Kane, perfectly happy with his captaincy.
Yeah.
I was umming and ahhing, all morning about who I was going to captain. I ended up calling like a little Twitter Spaces just to hash it out with some of the guys on Twitter. They all convinced me to go for Harry Kane just for how poor Leeds have been in it. Yeah, it showed. It proved to be right. So quite happy with that.
Yeah, I listened in, mate. I was already set on Kane. I wasn't going to stick it on Cancelo. I thought they'd have a tough game, which they did. And I just thought Leeds are just there after watching the Liverpool Leeds game on our pod last week. I was just sold. Harry Kane and Son, between the two of them, was enough to cause enough havoc. So, yeah, wise move, mate, that you went Kane that day and you reaped the rewards.
Yeah, and probably got me 100-place climb as well. So that's all I can ask for, really.
Yeah, nice.
And yeah, 16 transfers left. I've spoken about my next plan. I think is to get rid of Ward-Prowse and bring in Rudiger, and maybe Pope. I was talking about it on Twitter earlier. I mean, I haven't got the fixtures to show it on screen, but I'm in an R about whether I take out Pope to cover the Newcastle-Everton single. I think you can get some fixture gains, depending on how the FA Cup games go. I think you can get some fixture gains with either a Dubravka or a Pickford. Obviously, they're not the greatest goalkeepers playing for the best teams, but just trying to be a little bit different where I can, and I think that's one sort of opportunity, really.
Yeah. Yeah, and that'll come up in a minute, won't it?
So yeah, let's have a look at this week's Gameweek 30's fixtures then in Sky. So Saturday, 5th of March, we got Leicester and Leeds. So people who have brought in a Leicester asset will probably be looking forward to that game. Wolves in Crystal Palace, Norwich and Brentford, Newcastle, Brighton, Burnley, Chelsea, Villa, Southampton, and Liverpool and West Ham. I mean, every time Liverpool play, even when you don't see the team, I'm inclined to bring in Salah. Do you think the only question I've got is, do you think the fact that he did play the full 120 minutes, didn't he, in the cup final? Do you think that'll affect his game time on Saturday, or he'll just play?
No, don't think so. Bobby's Bobby Firmino still injured, knee slightly. Is that right? Yeah, he is. Jota's only just come back. Um, we need to win these games still. So yeah, I think Salah will play. I think it's a justified game against West Ham as well, where Klopp will see that as enough of a threat to go pretty much as full strength as possible. So yeah, I think Salah will play the game, and yeah, he's a wise captain move there. I think if I had like a Vardy or something, I don't even know why I mention his bloody name. Have you been just as burnt from Jamie Vardy as the rest of us?
Yeah, I absolutely have, mate. Every time I've owned him, he's
Yeah.
not done anything. Every time I've considered owning him and not put him in my team, he's absolutely gone mad. Well, he didn't go mad against Burnley, but he was the highest point scorer of the day, wasn't he?
Yeah, I know. I saw Dan Cox saying he might have brought him in, and I mean, Dan hates Vardy, doesn't he? I think had he have started, I might have brought him in for that game as well. Myself had the eye on it, but obviously looked at the team sheet. I think he's a prime candidate versus Leeds. I know that they've just sacked Bielsa, but they are shocking at the back, and yeah, could see goal. I mean, Leicester are a good attacking side, so could see goals in that one.
Yeah, new manager's not going to sort him out within a couple of
Are
days, is he?
you No, exactly. Are you just thinking Salah for this then?
Yeah, nice and simple, really. Yeah, Salah for me. I think he's fixture proof, isn't he? I mean, the only team you probably wouldn't captain him against is Man City, but maybe even then you would as well.
Yeah, he scored there. Like he scored there earlier in the season, didn't he? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're looking for best captain of the day, it's Salah, isn't it? I don't think there's too many other good options. Maybe a Chelsea defender, if you've got one in by that point, might get you a 20-pointer potentially. But Burnley might score, so yeah, I think Salah's the safe option there, unless you've got like a Vardy and you see that he starts, and I think that's a really viable route. I think a few people will do that. I don't know they've got quite a nice little run coming up, Leicester. I think when I look to bring in a player mainly, and sometimes I don't do this and then question why I do it afterwards. You want to bring in someone explosive. That's why I didn't bring in Tielemans last night. Tielemans would be a nice one to tick over, but more often than not, you're not going to get a huge 17-point haul, are you? And I think Jamie Vardy's quite capable of a couple of goals, man of the match, shots bonus. Is that sort of, explosive ability, and against Leeds is a really nice option. It's just any time I have Vardy, he blanks.
Yeah, and the only other thing worth mentioning, I think, for me on Vardy is every time, at the start of the season or when he comes back from an injury, basically any time after a prolonged period off, he tends to come back absolutely on it, and then he just peters off. I just don't think he can handle, a
No.
consistent load of games anymore. He's getting on, isn't he? But as soon as when he's fresh back from a break, he always seems to be really quite good. So yeah,
Yeah, agree with that, Tom.
that's just one thing to think about with him. Okay,
Yeah.
so Sunday the 6th of March, we got Watford at home to Arsenal, and then Man City, Man United. I think for me it's a simple one on Cancelo, really. I think even though you don't see the team against Man United in a game they need to win, you'd expect Cancelo to be playing. So I'm just going to stick it on him.
At home as well. I don't know whether I put myself through the pain and go Gabriel. I could see a 10-pointer there.
Yeah, you could, and well, under this new manager, they are playing slightly differently. But Man United always do seem to perform quite well against Man City. They either beat them or at least score. So there's a good chance that Man United will find a way to score against them. We saw against Spurs, right? Man City are leaky when a team counterattacks on them, and that's how Man United play. So I do see, it's possible that Man United could score. So Gabriel's definitely an option for me.
Yeah, I've got that's who I've got penned in at the moment. I've got Cancelo, obviously, as we've just seen, but yeah, I'll see the team sheet. Yeah, Cancelo's going to start that, isn't he? We sort of know that. But I actually don't think there's going to be, if we're going Arsenal asset versus City defensive asset. I'm inclined to say, famous last words, Tom. I don't think there'd be too much in it. Not saying there won't be a difference, but I don't think there'd be too much in it.
Yeah, you'd fancy both to get a passing and a clean sheet, both quite equally likely, isn't it? What Watford haven't, I know they've been quite good defensively, but under Roy, I think they've struggled to score goals. Yeah, so I don't hate that at
And
all.
Arsenal have been much better defensively over the past, 10, 12 games, haven't they? Maybe a bit longer. So, um, yeah, that's where I'm thinking at the moment.
Cool. Then we've got Monday, the 7th of March, single game day. We've all probably bought in a player by now for this one, either Son or Kane. So yeah, Spurs and Everton. I'll be on Kane for this one, as I imagine you will be too.
Yeah, Kane.
And this will probably be the game that he blanks as well. Just know what he's like.
Oh, I'm under no illusions. I don't know whether I like having him or not. It's just he fills a hole for the captaincy, and I've had him a couple of games now, and had had the Leeds sort of return out of him. So yeah, I'm firmly expecting 4 points there, like we talked about at the start. It's like you don't know what Tottenham are going to get. So it's a 4 point now. I'll be expecting it. If there's anything more, then it's a bonus.
And then, wow, this day sort of crept up on me, to be honest. But Thursday the 10th, we've got quite a difficult captaincy decision. I think we got Southampton at home to Newcastle, Wolves at home to Watford, and Leeds at home to Villa, and that's the 3 games on the day. So I own Ward-Prowse, Kilman, and Rafinha. So I've got cover for each game. We'll see the lineups. I'm a bit torn on who to go for, to be honest. I mean, I think each can be as good as each other, really, in that game. Have you got any preference either way?
Well, I've got Coutinho, so I think I'm going to stick the armband on Coutinho if he starts versus Leeds.
That's a nice idea, yeah. That to be honest, that's a really good. That's a good chance for anyone to use a transfer to be a bit different as well, I think.
Yeah, he's probably got. Would you say he's got the highest ceiling out of everyone on that day, on all 6 teams?
I think whether it's Coutinho, I think it's definitely a Villa player that will have the highest ceiling for sure.
They've got no one prolific up front, have they? I think it's Coutinho, but he hasn't. He's had a few blanks, so he's due a little. Due a little haul. Yeah, sort of Kilman. You're thinking at best, you're thinking a 10 pointer. It's not guaranteed. James Ward-Prowse is a bit of a tick over man, isn't he? In midfield, you know you're going to come away probably with sort of 5 points, 5 to 10 points. 10 being his sort of higher ceiling, I would say. Newcastle, they got a couple of players, haven't they? We'll probably talk about that in a bit. Said Watford aren't scoring goals. Wolves are good defensively, so you can't see anything for anyone in Watford there. Leeds are so open at the back. It looks like a Watkins, Buendia, Coutinho kind of sort of day, doesn't it? I don't think I'd be inclined to bring in Watkins or Buendia.
No.
I've got Coutinho. I really like anyone against Leeds, so that's where I think at the moment, if his name's on the sheet, where my armband will be.
Yeah, and it's a really good point for anyone trying to be a bit different. Well, we're probably going to turn Coutinho into one of the most popular players in the game. I don't know what other podcasts are talking about with him, but yeah, you're right. On the night, he's the best captain in my opinion. I didn't think of that at the time. To be honest, I'm thinking myself now whether I use a transfer to bring in Coutinho just to be a bit different.
The thing that excites me with someone like that is you can get that explosive ability, as I just talked about a minute ago, that a 17-point haul there is available, like you got against Leeds. As a captain and a differential captain, that takes you from 845th to the top 500 in an evening. If it happens. If it doesn't happen, then yeah, you miss out on maybe 6 to 8 points from a clean sheet from Kilman or something, but I'd rather chase the upside, especially where I'm at. And if I was in your boat as well, I'd be doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's conceivable that you could go from Bowen to Coutinho on the Saturday because West Ham Liverpool's a tough fixture, isn't it? Villa and Southampton's you'd consider a good fixture, and you buy Coutinho on Saturday, get him against Villa, and then captain him against Leeds. I think that's a really good option. I'm thinking about doing that myself now.
Yeah, watch him get 2 blanks back to back.
But I mean, even if he blanks, right? I don't think you're gonna get many points from anyone else. Like Rafinha, maybe, but he's not looked like a world beater recently. And well, he plays for Leeds, doesn't he? He's just been shite. So yeah, to think about, I think.
Exactly. You're sort of thinking with split cat. I know again, Paul McNulty talks about this again. Like you see how much we've listened to their pods. This when you've got the split and differential captaincy days where it's split over, that's your opportunity to then maybe go in with someone. Well, I think he's the best captain option for the day, so that's why I'll be going on him, and I've got him. But that's why you can go with that and maybe not get massively punished unless, of course, someone absolutely hauls and people have a good percentage of captaincy on him. But I don't think that day is going to be like that. I think it's going to be Kilman, Broya, whatever you pronounce it. He told me yesterday on his little video, and I've forgotten.
Broya,
James Ward-Prowse.
I think it's meant to be, yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be, sort of fairly split. So yeah, that's a good opportunity, I think, because most of the days there's an obvious captain, isn't there? As we'll see on the next game day following week.
Yeah, so I don't actually have that on screen, but you're more than welcome to talk about.
No, well, it's just I know that's the end of the game week, but yeah, like the Liverpool game on that day, so it's like with the first fixture, so it'll be back to Salah, won't it? Obviously, I won't go into game week 31, Tom. So
no, that's
happy
fine.
Happy to leave that one there and cover that one next week, mate.
Cool. One of the things that has been doing the rounds on Twitter that we've noticed is a great feature on FF stuff that basically allows you to see how your rank has changed over the game weeks that have been played so far. So the top one you'll see on your screen is mine, and then below that is Sam's. Although it makes Sam look a lot better than I am, but the scales are different for some reason. I don't quite know how that
I pointed that out to you, didn't I?
I know. I thought you were like, how have you managed that? But yeah, it's the scales are a bit different. But I'd recommend all of you get on the FF Stuff website and have a look at your Sky rank history. Plenty of chat going on about it. It's just interesting to see how your season's gone. I mean, for me, you can see. I think that's game week 21. That's the week that I had Antonio instead of Bowen. By the looks of it, I lost 500 ranks ish from that swing, and that's where my season sort of fell apart.
Yeah, mate, exactly. Like you said, it's a good way to see kind of where your peaks and your troughs have been. I think when I look at mine, obviously you can't really count the first couple of weeks and everyone's in that boat because it's just it's sort of sorting itself out. I had a really nice jump about game week 3 and 4, where I was about 500th.
Mm-hmm.
And then sort of really kind of dipped to sort of game week 14 there, where I just was, where you can see I was hovering around 5,000th. And then look how difficult it's been for me to break template. Slow, steadying. And look how pretty much from game week 17 through to now, it's a flat line. I've not really moved. And it's just so challenging because everyone's it's all well and good saying I want to break the template, but the template is created by the best 11 players. And we're all engaged Sky managers. So we've all got similar thought processes. And that's what makes it such difficulty. And I think that's very well represented in my graph there with the huge, long, steady line with basically no undulations. I'm hoping that's going to go on a sharp incline, Tom, from now onwards, but I very much doubt it.
Yeah, and looking at all the graphs that I've seen, most people's are like this as well. I think it shows that, you've either got to get off to a strong start and hold steady, or if you get off to a weak start, you've got to start playing some differentials immediately, really, haven't you? Because it just seems really hard to make gains later on in the season at the moment. Yeah,
I'm sort of, I know this is probably off topic and we'll probably cover this at the end of the season, but trying to work out next season, you're thinking, we probably said this last year into this year, we weren't going to get any COVID postponements, and we ended up getting them because of the new variant. But if we don't get anything COVID related next year, it's probably going to be even more it's going to be probably even safer than it has been this year. And so I think different sort of strategies are going to have to come out because I said Sky managers, everyone's getting better. Such a good standard of manager. There's going to be numerous ways potentially to play it. Leave that down to the manager to decide. But I think it brings good food for thought moving forward. And if you can hear my dogs barking, they're a pain in the ass. Good food for thought for the engaged Sky managers, how we navigate and negotiate that.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Got a couple of questions. I think that's reflective, a bit less than last week. I just think it's reflective of the fact there isn't much to talk about this week. It's quite a boring time. But thank you, Luke and Mitch, for your questions. So Luke asks us, If you aren't in realistic contention for winning the full game and have got all your mini leagues settled, will you play for a sensible top 100 and have fun, or go off template in the hope to make huge gains? I mean, for me, I think my chances of actually winning the whole game are so slim that if I was winning money in any sort of mini leagues, I'd be very settled with that, and I'd be quite happy to just hold my rank. That's certainly not in that position, sadly, this season. Most of the paid mini leagues that I'm in, I'm second or third, so I've got a chance of winning them, but I really need to go different, I think, in order to make some ground. But for people that are top of their mini leagues, to be honest, I'd be quite content just winning, like 100 quid, 70 quid in your leagues, really.
Yeah, no, I'm in a couple of leagues, and I'm like, even in my poor sort of 1200th rank, I'm still winning a couple, but not by a lot. So I've still got to make sure that I see the season out sensibly. I do know the guy that's behind me's got a lot less transfers, so I'm thinking if I play sensible, I can win the money, and there's a couple of £100 up there for grabs. But I can't help but at the moment just still play a little bit like differential. I want to go that way, and I think that option comes up. I'm going to be quite aggressive where I can just play with that. I can't see it. Yeah, I can't see it again going too wrong. But I think if you're winning mini leagues, if it's fairly tight, I know someone who's like 190 points ahead in his mini league and then 300 with his other team. It's like you could just do anything by that point if you're going to win that, and you could go completely off template, go crazy. If you know your mini league's nailed, then you can do whatever the hell you want. I would be, but I think if you're not quite nailed in it, you sort of want a little bit of safe play, don't you? Because realistically, a couple of £100 in a mini league is very achievable. Whereas you just said, Tom, unless you're in the top 100 or whatever, or a couple of hundred, depending on the points, it's very hard, isn't it? I think to then go and realistically win the game.
Yeah, I can completely agree. I think that's a really good answer, mate. And then Mitch asks us, thoughts on saving a few transfers for some 4-for-1s and 5-for-2s that pop up now, or should we save our transfers till later on? What do you think about that?
I'm not sure how many people are going to... I really don't know. Obviously looking at the averages, but trying to work out, I don't know what you think, Tom, who's going to start spunking a load of transfers now? What do you think the state of play is going to be in the last few game weeks? I think at the moment, it looks like if the next set of fixtures come out and they're like the last set, most people are going to be well set. I think people are going to have more transfers than less.
Yeah, I agree. I think anytime you see, like you're saying, 4-for-1s and 5-for-2s, I would capitalise on them right now because it's worth it. It's not like a 4-for-1 now is less valuable than a 4-for-1 at the end of the season. You know, it's a 4-for-1. That's valuable. The only thing you've got to consider is the quality of player that you're taking out and the quality that you're bringing in. Because, like, I don't know, a 5-for-2 for like a Norwich player over a Man City player, it's probably not even worth it. But yeah, in other cases, probably so. But yeah, I wouldn't save transfers now. If you've got genuine opportunities to where you see transfers to make gains, I'd make them. I wouldn't want to stop anyone from doing that.
Yeah, I agree, mate. Totally with that answer. I think that's bang on, for sure. If there's a good opportunity, 4-for-1s, 5-for-2s, etc., jump on them, get on them now, and then see what your state of play is towards the end of the season. Because there's no guarantee that we're going to have some good opportunities towards the end of the season.
No, I think you're absolutely right, mate. Right, nice one. That's it. Only a couple of questions this week, but yeah, as we said, it's not been the most interesting fantasy football week. Hopefully, things pick up a little bit next week, where we all talk about our Coutinho hauls and how we've reached the top 100 in a single game or something like that. Who knows?
Yeah, mate. 25-point haul.
But
awesome,
yeah,
Tom. Nice one.
Yeah, as always, if you liked what you saw, please leave a like rating and subscribe to us on YouTube and the same on Spotify. And yeah, we'll catch you next week for another episode. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Thanks very much.